I used to think that close guard was for stalling pieces of shit until I realized that it's actually a really seamless pathway to the back if you know how to use it correctly to the best of your advantage. If you want to be able to do that, watch this video next and I'll take you through everything step by step. We're going to look at a little simple entry to get towards close guard because obviously you guys aren't going to start there. It's very unlikely your partner just sits down on his knees and lets you wrap his legs around you. So what we're going to start to utilize is the reverse de la Riva stuff from last week. We're going to come into this position. Now, what I want you to do from here is continue with the off balancing of what we were talking about, whether you use tripod sweeps, whether you use the knee levers. I just want his weight going backwards. At this stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to lift my hips up over the top of his leg, and I'm going to connect to the other side so I can switch into de la Riva. Now I'm going to be in this sort of position. I'm going to bring him forwards, grabbing both of his legs. I'm going to shoot my legs up into a close guard, and then now we're in our close guard position. So it's quite simple to begin with. Just think about how you can manipulate his weight throughout the entirety of this. So I get him stumbling backwards, I get all of that weight on that back leg, I can start to go into my de la Riva play. I want to start to bring him forward so I can grab onto second legs, and then I can start to climb my way into a close guard situation. They may not always come down on top of you, but a sharp little knee pull forwards and then a movement underneath their elbows to take their hands away from posting should at least get them committed to one knee. But then typically what they're going to do is just take their second knee down because they're in a close guard situation, and now we can start to attack from here. So give that a go to begin with, and then we'll start from there. Now, my primary focus here is keeping him in this position. His primary focus is double thumb posting my armpits, standing up, going bolt upright, and then putting all his weight onto one leg as he pushes one of my knees, opening and then getting out. That's what he wants to do. So if we just reverse engineer what he wants, if I continually buckle his posture every single time he wants to put double thumb posts in, so I take his frames away, and I don't just let go and let him put his frames back in, I take them away and then I knee pull. When I knee pull, typically what I want to do is I want to put him over one shoulder. I don't just want to put him forwards. So if I can start to take him over my left shoulder, and I keep hold of this wrist, now I've got a lot of attacking opportunities I can go into immediately. I can start to take claims over shoulder crunches. I can start to take claims over pinch headlocks. I can start to move into my clamp guard series, which I'll show you guys in a second. But the whole idea here is starting to take these frames off and then putting him over to a shoulder. Keep this wrist contained because when he tries to come back into you, it's going to be extremely difficult if you just keep a straight frame. And the direction where he wants to take his grip to break my grip is actually the same way where I want him to go. I want his hand to be much further out than this. So it actually works for both of my goals and the ruining of his goals. From here, nice and easily, what we're going to do is we're going to start to cup the far lat. Then I want to shrug my shoulder as I turn the corner, getting his arm in front of my body. Once I get him over the top of my shoulder, I want to build height and then start to put my chest against the back of his arm here. He's going to have to do some crazy fucking circular shit to get his arm all the way back over. But what you'll notice is that my chest is behind his arm, but I'm also pulling weight into this direction. So he kind of has to post on here, otherwise he'll just fall over. So if he tries to put a whizzer in at this stage, there's a couple of things going on that's preventing him from doing so. And this is really effective. Just make sure that your chest doesn't disconnect, because then he can quite easily start to bring his arm back in, turn in and address and face you. Yeah, exactly. He's probably going to go underneath like that. Whereas if I pin this lat, I pull my elbow down and I glue my chest towards him. Now when he tries to come back in, it's very difficult. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to widen my left knee and invert my knee down to the floor. If I don't, and I'm just trying to get up from here, I'm going to get stuck by my own legs. But if I widen my knee all the way across, I can start to build sufficient height and come up on top of him. Notice that my foot's already on the outside. All I have to do is lock my body triangle over the far side. So, when we hit our original knee pull, it's to stop him from building height. When I knee pull him, I want to pull him over one shoulder, and then I want to start to claim this shoulder so I can keep his posture down. But I also want to ruin his posture from the other side by keeping his wrist out completely. When he tries to build height here, it's going to be extremely difficult. Now what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to cup over the far lat. I'm going to undo my legs, and I'm going to use like a scissor motion where I use my weight over. I use my legs on his body to start to shuck his elbow by my head. If he tries to bring the elbow back, I'm going to quickly build my height, keep my lat grip over the far side, and put my chest behind his elbow. That way when he tries to get inside that space there, it's extremely difficult. If my chest is away, it doesn't matter how hard I pull his lat, it's not going to be effective. But if my chest is there, I'm in a good position. Don't try and just get up from here without widening your knee. You'll build a little bit of height, but you'll end up coming back down. At the same time as you do that, you actually have to take your chest away to some degree. He can pummel back on the inside, and then he's going to put you back down and you think this won't work. If you build height by widening your knee, putting it down on the floor, if he tries to do any of those things, he'll be unable to do so. I'm already behind him. I can lock my body triangle and we're good to go. Let's give that a go. You're not going anywhere. We get him into this position, and instead of us allowing to come up and take the back, he starts to drive all of the weight over his left side. Yeah, so I start to get flattened out here. I don't want to give up all of the good work that I've worked to obtain here with this elbow staying across the body. This is what we always want to prioritize. We always want to get the elbows across the body, whether we do that with 2-on-1s or pinch headlocks or shoulder crunches or whatever. But if he keeps running me down, exactly, I'm going to find it really difficult to start to build height off his elbow, and he's kind of beating me to the punch. We're not going to go to the back anymore. We're going to go underneath him. So when this happens, what I want you to start to look for is a scoop on the near side leg. Now we can do 2 sweeps from here. We can do a flower sweep, which is essentially where I use this leg to start to knee lever him by blocking the outside of his knee and then taking him over. Or I can do a pendulum sweep, where I start to pendulum my hips up and underneath him so I'm cross body, and then I can start to pull him down into bottom position, where we typically will end up in mount, or at the very least 3/4 mount. So these are 2 really high percentage options. They're fantastic. If he starts to beat you for the punch, you get into this position, you start to climb around the back, and he goes, okay, I don't like this. I'm going to drive all my weight back down the other way. The scoop will be available because he has to use that leg to put you this direction. So we're either going to use a flower sweep, where my foot captures the outside of his knee. When he goes to widen his knee now, he's unable to do so. Or, for whatever reason, if his knee's far back and away, I don't feel like I can get my foot on the outside, I can't find it, no problem. I start to pendulum my hips up and underneath him, starting to use my leg on the outside, and then coming all the way into top position. Let's give those 2 a go. Jiu-jitsu is a funny thing, isn't it? Okay, so we're gonna do this one more time. We're gonna get towards our pinch headlock grip. We're gonna shrug his arm up and over the top like this. This time, he's going to violently start to extend upwards, and for whatever reason you weren't focused on keeping his posture down, sometimes this can happen. You get a little bit excited, you feel like you're 3/4 of the way towards the sweep, you dedicate way too much effort towards the scoop, and you go, oh yes, sweet. And then he postures up and runs away. So when he postures up and runs away, we're gonna maintain the scoop, and I'm just gonna X my legs in this body X position. Now when he tries to come back in towards me, it's going to be extremely difficult because my entire body's in the way. We've got 2 options here. He either tries to keep bolt upright the entire time, of which we're gonna go into his legs, or he tries to readdress me now that he thinks that the close guard is broken. Yeah, sometimes he hunts the head, sometimes he makes mistakes, and he brings his upper body towards me. We're now gonna play him off between a dilemma, between an opposite triangle and a leg entry. So if he's in this position, I can attack his upper body. What I need to be able to do is I need to be able to get this knee up towards the top shoulder. Once I can get this knee up towards the top shoulder, I'm pretty satisfied with this, I'll be able to execute the triangle. But do not take your collar tie off. If you think that the top knee is the most important part, but you leave the collar tie away, you're just gonna posture up, then we'll go back into the K-guard entry, but we'll look at that next. So I wanna get my knee and elbow connected, I wanna keep this scoop over on the right-hand side, and now I'm gonna pull his head as I kick my leg free out and around the corner. Now don't lock the triangle like this with a shitload of lat in it and just hurt their back. You will get a tap on some people that are inexperienced, but it's not likely to finish anybody good. The adjustment that you need to make, posture up a little bit, please. The adjustment that you need to make is by bringing your hips out and around the corner, throwing them up and over the top of him, and then excluding his lat from the triangle. You'll notice that the back of my calf is in the back of his rear delt, which is exactly where I want it. Now I can lock and I squeeze my legs in for a very, very, very tight finish. It's probably the second tightest triangle, Jake. Reverse triangle, and then this is the second tightest. Yeah, good. I like being right. Yeah, so we're going to pop him up over the top here. We're going to start to go towards our back take series. Then we're going to get too excited about the scoop, and sometimes this happens. You just get hyper focused on the leg. They posture up, out, and away. Then we're going to go immediately into this body X position. he starts to come back to try and hunt the head, we're going to start to take our knee up towards the top shoulder. Don't leave your knee on this shoulder, you get smashed, and it's not going to work for the triangle. Take it up to the top shoulder. Pull on the collar tie as you extend your foot outside the line of his arm. It should be a pretty easy process. Even if he decides to try and hang on to this, I just turn my knee inwards towards him and then I can start to extract my leg. From here, don't lock the triangle from here, it's not going to work. What you need to do is keep the collar tie over the back of his head so he doesn't posture up, and start to swing your hips out and over the top into this position. If you have to hand assist, there's nothing wrong with that. And once you get into this position, squeeze your knees together, very tight finish. Let's give that a go. We're getting that. That's fucking absolutely astonishing. I didn't think that would happen. I want to see it hit in live rounds on white belts. So we go back to this same situation. We start to bump him across. We come up for the back take. He drives all his body weight off. I don't pay enough attention to keeping his posture broken. So he starts to posture up, whether he thumb posts me, yeah, exactly right. He goes all the way up and this time he doesn't come back in. So now you're thinking, all right, well, the triangle's not going to work because I can't keep his posture down. I can't get my legs into place. We're going to immediately go into a K-guard attack. Now, what I was saying to a couple of you guys, the reason these fit so well together is because this knee motion is the exact same whether you're doing the triangle or K-guard. So really, all you want to do is scoot your hips out of the way and bring your knee down towards the floor with your heel up above your knee. You'll notice that it's the exact same motion as the opposite triangle when I get into this situation. I'm just inverting that knee down towards the floor, and we're doing it in both of these attacks here. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull his leg out of the hole. I'm going to link my hands together, whether I go S grip or palm to palm, and I'm going to use not my biceps and not my my arms. I'm going to use my body X, this thing, with my legs to kick him down the body and off balance him, making his leg light. If you go with a rather robust individual who doesn't want to come forwards and you don't use your legs, you pull, it's going to be very inefficient. You might not even get his knee off the floor. But if you use your body, there's not a person on earth that can stop you from doing this. Once we get to this position, I want to expose the back of his knee as fast as possible. So I'm going to grab at the toes. I'm going to start to pull that in the direction of my own face. I'm going to throw my left foot into position here as I bring his heel up. I don't want to leave it on the low side because if he backsteps, don't do it yet. His foot isn't going to be in heel hooking territory. So I'm going to pass this off, coming up to the top side so that when he does backstep, I can get my heel hooking grip and it's not going to make a difference because I've already got the bite. He can't go any further because he just blow his own leg, but I need to catch this on the way. If I don't catch this on the way, we pretty much end up in endless turns and you're just going to end up rolling out of bounds. So we get into this position, he postures up, he's away from us, so we're going to go into the lower body. I start to invert my knee down towards the floor and I've contained both his hips. He's still in like a semi-closed guard, but just my legs aren't locked. I'm going to grip up with both hands and I'm not going to rely on my arms. I'm going to rely on my body X doing the job here. Now, what I want to do is I want to start to expose the back of his knee and his heel at the same time. So I'm going to come up, I'm going to throw my leg around the corner as I start to pass off towards the high side. Then I can start to take my bite. As he backsteps inevitably, we can follow him through. I want to kick with my my foot in the stomach here so I can get as far away as possible. Because we're in 50-50, his defensive principles are going to be to come up and start to fight my hands. But I've already dealt with that because I can start to kick him away with this leg. You can then take your secondary leg across the body if you like. You can lock a regular triangle and use your shin to start to keep the distance. Or you can go into what's called X legs, which is probably the best option because now there's absolutely no way he can come up and fight my hands. I'm too far away. So if he just try and do that, by the time he tries to do that, I'm probably going to break him. Exactly right. So one more time. We break his posture. We come out. We go into our pinch headlock series. We start to come around the corner and he starts to posture up and gets away from us. He breaks the collar tie. As soon as he breaks that, we go immediately into his legs. Notice how I use my feet to start to shift his head down towards my body. And then I can start to throw my leg in between the middle here, passing off to the higher side. When he starts to roll through, I can start to throw into X legs. I can keep my foot on his hip, but on his stomach. But the whole idea here is keep his body as far away as possible. If we just go to regular 50-50, he's always able to reach up and access my hands. I want to put stuff in the way to prevent him from doing that.
And whilst he's reaching up, then I can start to go into my braking and we're good to go. Let's give that a go, then we'll wrestle.